Hi guys, let's make a card. I'm making one that's different from what I'm used to making. I usually make an A2 size card, but about 2 years ago, over in the office section at Walmart, I saw these beautiful envelopes. There are 5 different shades, and they're just gorgeous. They're so bright and just beautiful. So I bought them and thought, you know what, I can make a card base for those. And you can. It's no big deal. To make a card base for that size, you want to go with an 8 by 9 3/8 scored at 4. You see, I have this gorgeous yellow. I made one earlier that I thought was filming, but turned out it was not. This one, isn't that beautiful? I think so. And this is the envelope for it. I think it turned out gorgeous. Anyway, so we're going to do yellow now. And again, I have a white card base. Then I have 2 mats that go on the front, like 3 7/8 by 9 1/4. It'll be 3 3/4. Shoot, that wasn't even cut straight to begin with. 3 3/4 by 9 is this yellow one. And then the bottom one, which is actually a corrugated paper. I got this at Dollar Tree over by where the poster stuff is. I got it a couple of years ago, but I've seen it since then. So if you're interested, keep your eyes open for it. Because there was this pattern, and then there were a couple of other patterns, and I can't off the top of my head remember what they were. And then I have these dies that are absolutely gorgeous. I got them on AliExpress. That's about the only thing I've been buying on there besides buttons recently, because I've noticed there are far more stamp sets that have been basically stolen from U.S. creators and distributors. I did buy that one Stampin' Up! Stamp set, knowing full well that it had been stolen, and I felt so guilty about it I threw it away. Anyway, these are a scalloped die, and then they have a stitched edge to them. They're just gorgeous. I love them. So I cut this size. They're the nesting ones. Then this one. And then I'll stamp my sentiment on this one. The sentiment I'm going to use is this Happy Birthday. This is from the $1.99 bin at Joann Fabric. So it's just $1.99. And then I have this baker's twine that I'm going to use. It's a multicolored, and it just happens to be the same colors as the corrugated. Then I have this adorable teal with white polka dot button that I got from AliExpress a long time ago. And I used a baby pink thread to thread it to make it look like it was sewn on. And then I just tied a bow in it. You won't be able to see the bow because I made a bow with the baker's twine that I'm going to put on top of it. Anyway, it's going to be super easy. I'm just using art glitter glue as my adhesive. So, the first thing I want to do is attach my 2 big mats. And then, when I cut 1 or 2 for the inside, I'll cut one at 3 7/8 by 9 1/4. And then the other one will be cut at either 3 3/4 or 3 5/8 by 9. Oh, don't stick there. I like this because it's different. You know, the texture is different from what I'm used to using. Used to using just plain old cardstock. And I don't know what prompted me to even buy the corrugated cardstock, but it gives it a nice different texture, and I like that. There we go. I'll go ahead and attach these two together. I had thought about doing like a baker's twine band on those two mats, but then I decided against it because there's dimension with the corrugated as it is. I wonder if my husband just came in. He's been at the racetrack all day. And as you can tell, the corrugated does in fact die cut pretty good. Dimensionals. I got a call the other day from my brother. As I've said before, I had two brothers, both of them older than me. One was killed in a car accident in October, and the other is still living. Anyway, he called me the other day, a little bit frantic, and he said that he had just gotten off the phone with our mom, and she was really upset, and I said, well, why? What's going on? My 36-year-old nephew was being rushed into surgery because they found an aneurysm on the back of his brain that measured 6.6 millimeters. Now, we don't know what caused it, but he had been having some headaches that he couldn't get rid of, so he went to his doctor about it, and they did x-rays, they did CAT scans. They found it on the CAT scan and said, we're going to send you for an MRI and then send you to a specialist. Well, they didn't tell him at that point that it was an aneurysm. They just said that they wanted to send him to a specialist. So he went to the specialist, and, well, first he had the MRI, and then he went to the specialist, and when he went in, it was like he'd been just punched in the chest. He's 36. They told him he had that aneurysm, and they were going to have to operate to remove it. So, that was a bit much this week. You know, my mom and I had a talk about it because obviously I waited a little bit and then I called her to check on her. Because my mom has an aneurysm in her stomach that is much smaller, and they don't want to go in and mess with it until it reaches 5 millimeter. That's kind of the standard, I guess. So my whole thing is, we'll keep her calm, because obviously getting upset and being stressed out and all of those things can make it move or rupture. So anyway, we were having a conversation about it, and I said, you know, Mom, I said, we've been through a lot, this family. And she said, yeah, and I said, God has never dropped us. He's always given us everything that we need, you know, the comfort and everything that we need. And He's never given us more than we can handle. But I got off the phone with her, and I just lost it. I didn't want to lose it with her on the phone because I didn't want to upset her. But he was my first nephew, and I was 14 when he was born. And I started babysitting him when he was only 6 weeks old. And my sister was still sowing her wild oats at the time, so I kept him a lot. It was more like he was my child as opposed to hers. I had him that often. So obviously, I mean, I'm super close with him, and it knocked the wind out of me because, again, I was super close because he was the first nephew, and I kept him so much. And he and I have always looked a lot alike, to the point where I was helping take care of my grandparents at the time, and my sister had moved in with my grandparents because she'd gotten a divorce, and the long story. Anyway, they needed groceries, so the boy that I was dating at the time came and got me, and me and him and my nephew went to the grocery store, and a woman stopped me, you know, just wanting to ooh and ah at the baby, and she said to me, your son looks just like you. I said, that's my nephew. I was only like, again, 14. The boy I was dating was 17. And he still to this day looks a lot like me. Anyway, so we've been in a lot of prayer since then. Because he has a teenage daughter, and then he has a child that's much younger. He's not a toddler. He's older than a toddler. 5 years old. So my whole thing was, Lord, please don't take him away from his family. It's pretty scary, though. We've had a lot of stuff just in the last 2 years. A lot of health-related issues, deaths, things of that nature. We've had too much of it over the last 2 years, in my opinion. Alright. Let's put this heart up here. Glue it down there. And then put this little bow on top of it. And I'll come back and trim those tails up in a little bit. I need to hold it for a minute because I use so much glue that I can't put a weight or anything on it, which was silly. dries clear and dries matte. And I'll usually use so much of it because it gets up into the fibers and keeps the bow from coming undone. Or at least that's been my experience with it. Alright, I'll trim that down in a little bit. Get out my stamp. Then I need to find some, oh no, I may just use enamel dots. Goodness knows I have enough of those. The one thing that I don't like about this stamp set is on the B, there's a spot right there that it's like it doesn't get any ink at all. It's just kind of a mess up on it on this stamp. So I have to go back with my black fine liner and fill it in. I need to refill my ink. It just barely fit on there. See how that B does right there? It's a little dot where it doesn't get any ink or something. I don't know. But you can't beat the price of these stamp sets. $1.99. And it's a set that says, "Happy birthday, let's celebrate. Time to party, 2 balloons, a banner, 2 party hats," and then this is like confetti. And that says, "Let's celebrate." I mean, for $1.99, can't beat it. Alright. I wonder if I should go around the edge of that. No. Cute. Now, enamel dots. I won't need a heart because that's already on there. Come on. Thanks. I'm just going to use black and white on the inside. There. Cute, right? It's fun to do different sizes and things like that. So what do you guys think? I think it turned out cute. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me. I certainly appreciate it. I hope you all have a great day and a glorious tomorrow. Bye, guys.